you could even imagine it.
Long ago, in 2022, my favorite game of all time was released, Elden Ring. So, interestingly enough, I actually didn't know Elden Ring existed until the day after it released. You see, what happened was I had a friend who was streaming on Twitch. So I mosey on over to their stream and I begin to observe the game that they're playing, and it just happened to be Elden Ring. I proceed to ask them in their chat, "Hey, what is this game?" They, of course, seemed surprised that I'm even asking that question. But looking back, I completely understand why. I just missed the trailer and all of the memos leading up to the game releasing. So while watching them play the beginnings of their playthrough in Limgrave, I'm absolutely mesmerized. Let me explain. You see, my whole life of gaming, I've always dreamed of a specific type of game. This game would include fantasy style art direction, high quality 3D graphics, world building dense enough to rival my love for things like Avatar: The Last Airbender, Game of Thrones, and even my obsession with Taylor Swift, among other things. And here it was, on my screen, the game of my dreams. A delicious world of strange, thought-provoking, and rich storytelling. I bought it immediately. The next year or so of my life, my friends would often refer to me as a walking Elden Ring Wikipedia page. And this is because in that year, I sunk around 400 hours into Elden Ring. I watched every lore video, every video essay that I could come across. I even platinumed the game on my PlayStation, and I beat it 4 times. I also put myself on sort of a personal quest, a very tedious personal quest, to obtain every item, spell, weapon, incantation, armor piece. All of it. Obsessed is not strong enough of a word for it. Which brings me to the title of this video. Why can't I play Elden Ring anymore? I've beat the game 4 times. Why is it so hard for me to pick up the controller and just play leisurely on my own time whenever I want? I mean, I know basically everything. Shouldn't it be relaxing to me? I mean, maybe, but perhaps that's also the same reason why I can't play it anymore. Maybe I have nothing more to gain from Elden Ring, and maybe I just need to come to terms with that. Every time I go to play Elden Ring, the same thing always happens. I see someone else play, or I see a clip of the game, and all of the nostalgic memories come flooding back to me of when I was playing it for the first time. And if I get far enough to load the game up on my PlayStation, there I am in the loading screen, and it feels so cumbersome. Just the mere thought of starting a brand new playthrough feels so daunting, like such a large task. But why was it so easy for me to do it 4 times before? Maybe it's because I know too much about Elden Ring. But how can I move on so easily? Elden Ring has brought me well over 500 hours of pure joy. Even though the first time that I faced Margit, I had to take a week-long break. I really wish I had a full recording of my original playthrough because it was just magical. I mean, do you remember entering Shifa River for the first time? And then realizing the map just keeps expanding and expanding and expanding? I can only describe that feeling as magic. Oh, and here's a little fun fact about my first Elden Ring playthrough. It's actually really embarrassing. So Elden Ring was my first ever Souls game, so I had zero idea what to expect, right? I only knew that Souls games were very difficult, and everyone that I had talked to in my circle of life had never played a Souls game before. You know, when they think of gaming, they think of coming home after a long day of work, sitting down and playing Call of Duty, or Fortnite, or Fall Guys. We are not the same kind of gamers, and you know what I'm talking about. And those are valid games. I'm not coming for you in the games that you like to enjoy and play. Those are valid. So like I said, I had nothing to go off of, except what I had seen online. I was diving headfirst into a genre I knew nothing about. And I'm saying all of this so you understand why I made such an embarrassing first mistake. When I was doing the tutorial and I get to the first site of grace. I notice in the menu of the site of grace that there's an option to pass the time, and I was in this mindset that it meant something way more than what it actually did. And I don't know why. After my tutorial, every time I sat down at a new site of grace, I thought I was required to pass the time before I was able to get up and continue on playing the game. At the time, it felt like a very weird mechanic and very cumbersome, but it felt that way because it's not a mechanic, and I was just silly, and that's all. And I needed to share that with somebody that would understand, because I don't have any friends to tell that to that play Elden Ring like I do. And you're probably, assuming that you're still sitting here watching this, and if you are, thank you so much. Please make sure to like and subscribe as well. But if you're still watching this, you're probably thinking, why haven't I mentioned the new Elden Ring DLC yet? And yeah, so I'm not particularly excited about the Night Rain DLC. It's not really my style or preference for a game in general. I'm glad it exists, and I'm really glad that you guys will enjoy it. But I just don't see the point of myself playing it, especially when I've seen articles that the lore and the world building have no correlation to the original game. If I'm being honest, a very large reason why I was drawn to Elden Ring in the beginning was the exploration, the large map, the unknown, everything that I had to discover. And there probably is stuff to discover in Elden Ring Night Rain, but it's a lot more fast-paced. You're not going to have time to sit there and go through every little thing. Plus, we already know a lot of the assets are being used from the original game, and if I really wanted to get pummeled by a bunch of bosses again, I would probably just start a brand new save on Elden Ring. If I do ever try out the Night Rain DLC, I'll likely just yoink it from my friend's Steam library, to be honest. I also have not finished the Shadow of the Erdtree DLC yet either, at least not on my own save. But I have seen other people complete it, and I've watched all of the lore videos on that as well. So I do know how it ends, and I do know the lore behind the DLC. And a big thank you to VODvidia, Smotown, Zuli the Witch, and Ziostorm for giving me all of this information. And the hours upon hours of lore and pure joy that you brought me with your videos. And to be honest, I haven't finished the DLC yet just because it's pretty brutal, and I'm on New Game Plus 4, I think, in the DLC. So maybe I am finally burnt out on Elden Ring. We've had a good run. It will for the foreseeable future. I mean, I don't know. Subnautica 2 is right around the corner, but it will remain my favorite game of all time. Maybe one day I'll pick up my controller on my PlayStation and give it another go. But for now, my tarnished coat of arms will lay to rest. Thank you so much for staying here and listening to me ramble about a game that I love so dearly and I have such fond memories of. If you can relate, or even if you don't, please leave a comment for me down below on how you feel about how Elden Ring and its DLC have evolved over time, because I would love to hear. And that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for being here. Have a good day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!